Dear friends, welcome to this electrical engineering knowledge sharing channel, AMP Power System Workshop. Thank you very much for watching and sharing the various sessions which have been conducted under Workshop 1 Power System Protection. We have already completed 5 sessions. We are in discussion of session 6. In session 6, we have already completed 4 parts. Now, today we will be going to discuss part 5. That is the last part of this session 6. With part 5, generator protection, session 6, generator protection will be considered completed. Now, before going into this part 5 today, as we said before, we will be discussing in part 5 3 parts actually we will be discussing. One part is mechanical events or mechanical actions which can take place in the turbine site and has a consequence on the generator. That is one part. That is a mechanical issues which has impact on the turbine. That is one part which has impact on generator. That is one part we will discuss. Second part we will discuss the various protection functions to be allocated on the generator based on its rating and mode of operation. That is the various protection functions to be allocated. Protection functions to be allocated in various size generator. In various generator based on size, size and mode of connection. And third part is the tripping scheme of a generator. Tripping, when there is any protection functions operate, then what should be the tripping scheme? That also we will discuss. These are the 3 parts we will be discussing today's session. We will try to complete within 45 minutes. Okay. Now let's first discuss about the mechanical issues. Now, why the mechanical issue we are thinking to address in this generator protection? Because generator is not producing active power by its own. Generator is producing active power which is given by the turbine or it is diesel generator, whatever the prime mover. You can say another way the prime mover. Prime mover can be diesel engine, it could be gas turbine, it could be steam turbine. So this mechanical power which is given by this prime mover, that mechanical power is converted to active power, active electrical power in kilowatt by the generators. So if the output power of the prime mover, which is incoming power to the generator, if that power get disturbed, automatically generator output will get disturbed. So we have to look into what are the causes which can result the output power of the prime mover changes. So if we look into that aspect, that in that case we have to see this generator, this prime mover is converting input power into output power by burning the fuel or with the energy contained in the fuel converted to mechanical energy by the prime mover. Now input power depend on the fuel which is coming, as well as there are 2 ingredients which is controlling the input power to the prime mover. Prime mover is a device. This is a prime mover. So this prime mover, there is input and there is output. Now the input has a 2 ingredient. One is a fuel which is giving the power, and second is a air. These 2 are main ingredient in case of prime mover. Now if the fuel get changed or input air get changed, then automatically input power will be changes, then the output automatically get changed. Now input power in case of any prime mover, simple formula, input mass is to be maintained for a particular output from the prime mover. If the input mass get changed, automatically output will get changed. This is one. Second part, input mass ratio means there are mainly 2 input, one is a fuel, another is air. If the ratio of fuel to air, the ratio also to be maintained to get the result output, because fuel is burned with the help of air. Without air, fuel cannot be burned. So this ratio of fuel to air also to be maintained in addition to the maintaining the mass of the respective fuel and air for a particular output. Now, what are the causes what are the reasons which can cause the mass input or ratio can get changed? Now, if you see any prime mover, the input fuel is coming, input fuel, it could be diesel, it could be gas, it could be steam. The input fuel is coming through the input lines, fuel lines or steam line or gas line. Then there is a governor system which is controlling the input quantity, and then there is a fuel pump or control valve is there. So if any one of this system is get blocked or choked, or if they do not operate in proper way, the way they are supposed to work, in that case what will happen? Input fuel mass will get changed, or the input fuel quantity also will get changed. So to maintain the input power, input fuel to be maintained in a proportional to the output power, we need to make sure that all the input devices through which the input fuel is coming is clean, is working properly. That to be make sure. If that is not there, then it will not be possible to maintain the output to the required value. Second point, the ER. Similarly, the ER which is coming in any machine, the ER is entering inside the machine through the ER inlet system. There is a intake fan, then there will be louvers on the ER intake system. Then inside the air intake there will be a filter, because the air is coming from the atmosphere. This has a lot of dust. So that fuel, that air should be clean. So there will be filter. After the filter, it is coming to the machine. So if all the system, like a filter, it should be not blocked. Filter should not have should have a pressure drop will not be more than that intended pressure drop in the filter. The inlet lever should not be blocked. That also to be looked into. Then only we can, and the atmosphere from where the air is taken, that should be clean air. That should not be any dust or any type of burning carbon or any other impurity should not be there. So it should be fresh air, and that to be taken. So that all this thing to be ensured. That means filter to be properly maintained, louver should be clean, intake system shall be properly work, the intake fan should also properly work, and it should take the adequate amount of air. Then only the intake air can be maintained. So if we can maintain this input system, then the automatically output will be maintained as per required in proportion to the input, subject to machine is working properly. That we discuss afterwards. So these are the input side. Input side, there are fuel side and the air side. That all the side, all these input filters, both fuel filter, air filter, then inlet fuel valve, fuel pump, or the governor, it should be maintained properly, it should work properly, air intake fan, air intake blower, all these things should be clean. Then only it will get the necessary output, and that mechanical output will be going to the machine. Machine will maintain the necessary output from the generators. That is one part. Second part, we have to prevent the fouling of the turbines, because fouling means when this air and the fuel is taken from the system, fuel system and the atmosphere, if there is a dart, if the dart is less than 10 micrometer, if the size of the dart is more than this, then what will happen? All the dart will be getting inside the machine. It can be gas turbine in case of gas, the gas which is coming inside the machine along with the air. If there is a dart, then that dart will be deposited over the turbine blades as well as in the annulus area of the turbine. Then the amount of air intake is getting reduced, as well as this dart will be corroded the blade. And if the air intake or the gas intake is not adequate due to this deposition of the dart, then the automatically output of the prime mover or the turbine will be less. So we have to prevent this dart ingress to the machine. That we do by the proper filter. We will be using proper gas filter as well as or this diesel filter as well as properly air filter, so that this deposition of the dart will not be there, as well as regular maintenance of the turbine is also required to ensure that this dart deposition or fouling in the machine is not there. That is another part of these things. Then another part is this machine, in addition to this fuel and this air intake system and the fouling, we have to make sure that the governor system which is controlling the speed of the turbine, that is maintained and it is properly working. That also we have to ensure regularly by proper maintenance. Okay, these are the mainly mechanical problem which can come into the machine and which must be prevented to ensure the output power is maintained in proportion to the input power. Now, if the output power is not maintained, automatically output power of the generator will be get disturbed for the particular load, and that is not accepted. In addition to this, there is another issues of this mechanical equipment, turbine and generator rotating part. It is mounted on the bearing. Okay. If this bearing, if there is a vibration in the machine, automatically what will happen? This will give a vibration to the bearing, and the bearing will be wires and tears. So this vibration must be prevented. So what we do? We put a vibration monitoring system. How we monitor the vibration? We put a sensor in the bearing system, on the shaft system, in a suitable location, so that it can capture the vibration. Vibration can be amplitude, it could be measured in terms of velocity, it could be measured in terms of acceleration. So this vibration is captured by the sensor, and all the sensors, whatever the principle it uses, ultimately the sensor output either resistance or it is electrical parameter, either resistance or current. That resistance and current, if it is resistance, through the Wheatstone bridge is converted to ampere, and if it is ampere, if the ampere is milliampere, we can amplify the ampere, then it will be monitored in the vibration monitoring system. Now there are different type of sensor we can use in a vibration monitoring, like your piezoelectric sensors, which is work on the pressure, and then the strain sensors, then there is a eddy current or capacitive sensors, then we have a laser distributed system sensors. There is a various type of sensors are available. The type of sensor we'll use, it depends on the cost of the machine, importance of the machine. Based on that, we can decide the type of sensors. Then the sensors with the cabling wire will go to the vibration monitoring system. In the vibration monitoring system, it will display the amount of vibration either in amplitude or in velocity or in acceleration. And then from this vibration monitoring system, there is a setting for the certain how much vibration the machine to run, and if the vibration is above that, then there is alarm, there is a trip system. So this vibration monitoring system also is important for maintaining the output power to the generator, so that it can capture the machine is in proper alignment or not. Now the vibration, there are two types of vibration. One is axial vibration and another is the radial vibration. So that vibration is captured by these vibration sensors. And then another point is the bearing. There is a chance of eddy current. All these bearings, shaft, everything is grounded, and there is a capacitive current it can generate in this system, which can give the eddy current. And if the eddy current is there, then what will happen? All the bearings will be deteriorated. There will be pit form. There will be a small dot or deterioration on the bearing, which will be consequent. With the time, it will be degraded further, and that cause the wear and tear in the bearing. Then ultimately system will be unbalanced. This total mechanical system will be unbalanced. It will give a high vibration. So this bearing, and that will cause a higher temperature on the bearing also. So this bearing temperature is also to be regularly monitored. So we put, what do? We put RTD. As we put the RTD in the starter winding, we put RTD in the bearing itself, and that RTD is coming like a starter winding is coming to one junction box, bearing RTD is coming to the another junction box, and from there we can take to the RTD monitoring relay, and from that we can monitor the bearing temperature. So this is also another important part for the mechanical side. So this, if all these things are properly maintained, then the input power to the turbine is maintained, then the corresponding output is getting as we intended, and that output is going as input to the generators, and generator is giving the required output, and everything will be running. But if any one of them is not in proper order, is not in proportion, then we have to take immediately preventive measures for that. So these are the mechanical events or scenario which can cause the generator output disturb. Okay. So these are the things to be look into a discussion. One thing I want to mention over here, this mechanical issues, before giving all the pictures, I have a small discussion with one of my mechanical engineer friend, Mr. K. Sebastian, and he has supported me during this discussion. I would like to convey my sincere thanks to Mr. Sebastian for giving his valuable advice about the mechanical fouling and this dirt deposition on the turbine, this part. Thank you very much to Mr. Sebastian. Now let us go to the today's actual sessions. So what are the protection functions we need to allocate to different type of machines? We have already discussed various protection functions. The protection functions which we have discussed over the last three sessions, session 2, 3 and 4. First session we discussed about the differential protection 87G, which is giving the 87G and 87GN, you can say another way. This we have discussed. Then we have discussed next session 51V and 51G and 64 restricted earth fault. In the second session, this session we completed in first one, this we completed in second session. This is the second part of session 6 we did. This is we discussed in the third part. And fourth part, we have discussed about the various abnormal service conditions. What are those service conditions? We said about the loss of we discussed about the reverse power or loss of excitation. 32 is a reverse power, loss of excitation. Then we have discussed 49 G overload. Then we have discussed 46 negative sequencing. Then we have discussed 99 overfluxing. We have discussed 89 under frequency, over frequency. Then we have discussed 78. We have discussed 37. We have discussed here also 64F. 64 rotor at fault. We have discussed. So these are the various protection functions. Then we have discussed 50V also, 60V. 60V is a PTA supply failure or PT supply failure. All this function we have discussed during this session. We have discussed on the fourth part. So second part, third part and fourth part, and first part we discussed about the generator construction. So if anybody has missed out, then I would like to request, please go to this respective part so that you can get an idea about the various protection functions. We have discussed in detail why the protection function is required, what are the consequences if that is not there, and then we have discussed in details. So these are the various protection functions we have already discussed. Now we will see out of all these protection functions, which protection function we should apply for which type of machine. That we'll discuss in terms of two. One is a size of the machine. So we'll classify the size of the machine in 4 different groups. Okay. So now I am deleting this part. So we'll discuss the various protection function under 2 groups. One is two philosophy. One is a size of the machine. Size of machine, that is in terms of kilowatt. That is one. Another is a mode of connection. Mode of connection. Based on these two philosophy, we will discuss about the protection function applicable. In case of size of machine, we will consider the size of machine. One is a small size machine. A small size. Second is a mid size. Third is a large size. And fourth is a very large size. Very large. These are the 4 categories of machine we will discuss. Very large size. I would like to highlight this for single, it is size of the machine based on this part. There is in the mode of connection, there are 2 mode of connection. One is a single isolated machine. Single isolated machine. One. Second is a multi-machine system. Multi-machine system. Where the multiple generators are connected in parallel. So this is single isolated machine is generally a small and mid-size machine generally is coming under single isolated machine. Very big size machine we never run in single mode. Always we run in parallel. So under single isolated machine we will discuss only these 2 size. But for the multi-machine system, all these machines can operate in multi-machine system. So in multi-machine system we will discuss all the 4. Now in case of first we discuss about the single isolated machine. In case of single isolated machine, if the machine size say less than 500 kilowatt, we said in less than 750 kilowatt machine, 750 kilowatt or less, then in case of that type of a small machine, we will apply only 2 protection. One is a phase fault protection, another is a earth fault protection. That is the normal practice for the small machine, say less than 500 kilowatt or up to 750 kilowatt if it is not very important application. So how we do that thing? We have already discussed this. That is a 2 protection we normally apply. One is a 51V, another is a 51G. That is for the single isolated small size machine. A small size machine. So we have seen this is a generator. Generator is connected either directly or through a resistance, right? This is a resistance. These are the 2 mode of connection. Then it is coming and this is your generator breaker and this is a switch gear. This is a bus bar switch gear. So this way power is coming from the generator, then it is getting distributed to the various loads. Now in case of, we said it is a single, is a small machine. A small, say less than 750 kilowatt or even less than 500 kilowatt. In that case what we said, that for giving the 51V single isolated machine, where we have to put the CT for the 51 CT will be located on the neutral side, right? So CT will be located over here or over here. That is as per the connection. Now then it will connect a 51V relay. 51V relay, and 51V relay, what you need? You need a PT supply also. So PT will be coming from here, right? This is the 51V relay, and then we will put another CT for 51G. If it is a directly connected, this will be 51G. If it is a resistance connected, then it will be connected over here 51G. And both CD will be here. So these are the two sub protection we generally provide for a small size non-urgent machine. Okay. But if it is an urgent machine, then we have to think in another way. In that case, we may require to put the differential protection also. It depends on the urgent. But if it is not important machine, not important application, up to 800 kilowatt, we can give only this protection only. Now, if the same small machine, if we want to run in parallel, that is in case of multi-machine system, then what are the protection to be provided? So, first category we can write here one by one. The first small machine, single, will provide 51V and 51G. These are the two protection we have provided first category. Second category is a small machine but multi-machine system. That means this is a multiple machines are connected like this. So this is a, suppose this connected like a through a resistance and it is grounded, or it can be connected directly. What about the mode of connection? In this case, and then it is coming to a switch gear. All are connected like this way. All are identical mode of connection. Okay, these are the multi-machine system. In that case, in the same small machine, it is a small machine. Maybe it is a 500 kilowatt, 750 kilowatt like this. So when we put a multi-machine system, in that case, it is a important application. I mean, it will be distributing power in a certain area, inside desert, or where no utility power is there. In that type of application, this multi-machine system is applicable. It is not that for only certain hour of the time or certain hour of the day will run the machine, not like that. When a multi-machine system is there, power to be maintained all over the day in a certain area where no utility power is there. So in that case, this machine important is applicable, is important. In that case, whatever we have provided for the single machine system, what we put, in case of, we said in case of multi-machine system, this 51V which we provide for the single machine, 51V and 51G, that must be there. These two will be there. This we do need not to change it. Now, in case of multi-machine system, CT for 51V will be locating on the line side. We said already. So this will be 51V will be here. Then we have the PT. This PT will be connected to this. This will be 51V, and there will be 51G over here. This will be there. Now, in addition to this, what is the other things required? When it is running in parallel, then what things happen? In case of this generator is getting rotor supply from the field. If the rotor supply fail, we have seen in case of loss of excitation, what will happen? It will take the KVA from the system, and this system, then the machine will go unstable, it become out of synchronizing, and then another issue in the rotor, there will be slip frequency current will be generated, and the machine will be running as a over synchronized speed, that is, it will be running as an induction generator, so it will be causing heat into the machine. So we have to give a loss of excitation protection, that is a 40. We have to give a 40. 40 also need the PT supply. So this is one of the protection required in case of parallel operation. Another operation, as it is reactive power, in case of turbine failure or the prime mover failure of this machine, immediately it will know active power is giving, so it will take active power from the system, and then this generator will be acting as a motor. That is also to be prevented. So it will be 32 also will be here, and then the PT supply will be coming to this 32 also. So these are the 51V, 40, 32. This will be additional protection to be given in case the machine running in parallel. So in case of a small machine, multi-machine system, in case of a small machine running in parallel, so what we have to additional, we have to provide 32 will be there, then 40 will be there. This will be there, and these are the main protection we provide for the multi-machine system. But if the machine is very, very important in application, though it is a small size, in that case, what we need to give the differential protection also in the machine. Phase differential also we have to provide in that case. If it is an important application, that we have to evaluate case to case. So in that case also we have to provide 87G. These are the protection for the small multi-machine system. If there is not very important, in that case 87G we can avoid. Suppose the machine is 230 kilowatt, two machines running, in that case 87 may not required. But if the machine is suppose 600 kilowatt and it is an application is important, in that case we may include 87G differential protection for this phase and arc fault. So these are the protection required for the small multi-machine system. In case of multi-machine system, what the protection will provide? 51V, then 51G, will put 32, will put 40, yeah, and then optional 87G we are writing. These are the protection we have to provide for the multi-machine system, a small multi-machine system, right? So these are the two discussed. A small machine single isolated only will provide 51V and 51G voltage restraint or voltage control over current relay and IDMT at fault relay. That is for the normal small single isolated machine. But with a small machine running in parallel with the other machine, in that case, in addition to this, we have to provide reverse power and loss of acceleration, and depending on the criticality, we need to include also maybe 87G. That is a differential protection for ground and phase fault. Okay, these are the small size machine. Now you come to the mid size machine. Mid size machine is, suppose it is more than 750 kilowatt but less than 5 megawatt. In that case, we can consider. In case of mid machine system, single isolated machine, if it is a medium size single isolated machine means it is a suppose less than 5 megawatt machine. In that case, single isolated, what will provide? Will provide the machine what we have provided before. That is a 51V, this is a generator, okay? And then this is a single isolated machine running, this is a grounded through resistance, okay? So there will be, first we have to provide is a single machine. So in that case, 51V will be here, okay, and then PT will be located, line PT. So the PT supply will be coming to the machine, that is 51V. We have to provide 51G, what we have provided for the small machine, that is also to be there. Then in this machine, in case of medium size, this type of machine, we have to provide a differential protection also. So it will be differential protection of the different CT. So this will be, busbar will be here, so this CT will be located over here. So this will be providing 87G. That also we have to provide, yeah, 87G will be there. Then 51V, 87G is there. Then we need to require this, due to over 89 the rotor starter fault due to overheating, that is 849G also we have to include in the machine in that case. Then we have to include 49G starter of the fault. Then we need to include your 46 negative sequence heating also we need to include. Okay, in case of single isolated machine, 46 negative sequence heating, that is due to because loading is not in our hand, loading may be unbalanced. In that case, negative sequence heating we have to include, starter heating we have to include, differential protection we have to include, 51V will be there, 51G. For the parallel operation protection is not required over here. Depending on the importance, we can provide the rotor arc fault 64R. Rotor arc fault we can also provide in this case, in case of rotor arc fault. So these are the various protection. For a small isolated mid-size machine, we will provide 87G. Under differential and phase and arc fault, 87G will be there. That is the main protection. Backup by 51V. Then we have what is the second protection? We have a 51G for the arc fault, and then rotor arc fault 64R will be there. Then we have a 49G and 46 negative sequence heating. These are the protection we provide for the number 3, medium size machine, single isolated. Medium size machine, single. In that case, we will provide 87G, 51V, 51G, then we will put 46, 49G, okay, and we may include 64 rotor arc fault. These are the protection we will provide for this mid-size machine, okay. Now, when the medium-size machine running in parallel, okay, then what we have to do? In the mid-size machine, sometimes 46 is not mandatory. We do not. Sometimes we include 46. We may not include, depending on the evaluation. Now, for the mid-size machine running in parallel, in that case, in addition to this single operated machine, we have to include another 2 protection. Whatever we have included, it is a mid-size machine running in parallel. Mid-size machine running in parallel. Running in parallel. In that case, what we have to add? So same protection what we have provide, 87G, that will be there. Then 51V will be there. 51G will be there. Then we have a 46 negative sequence. It is optional, may or may not be. Then 49G will be there. Starter arc fault will be there. Then we have a rotor arc fault 64R. Also it is optional. You can put, we may not include. Okay. These are 2 protections are optional. So main here is a 49G and 87G mandatory for 51G, 51V, and these two depending on the situation. So 46 we may include, 64 are rotor outfall may not include. So these are the multi-machine system running in parallel. These will be there. In addition, this is for the normal machine, single machine it is there. So when we are running in parallel, we have say two things. We have to protect the machine for the reverse KVR flow, reverse power flow. These two protection to be provided. That is for parallel operation, that is required for one is a 40 loss of acceleration. In case of loss of acceleration, system will feed, as it is running in parallel, system will feed the KVR, that to be prevented. So 40 should be there. Then reverse power should be there, so it should not allow the power flow to the machine, that also to be protected. So 40 and 32 should be there. And in case of mid-size machine, you see when we are providing this protection, 46 and 64, 32, 40, these are mandatory. In that case, what is happening? All are needs a PT supply. If you see the generator connection, this is a generator running in parallel, all are running in parallel, okay? Now here we have a CT. This CT, it is containing 51V, then it taking 40, it takes 32, yeah? So these all are connected, then it is 46 also, yeah? If these are connected, all these relays need a PT supply. So we have to put a PT over here. This PT supply will be coming over here. All PT supply will be going here. If this PT supply fail, then all this relay will be not operating. We already discussed. So when you have to do this PT supply to be monitored by a 60 relay. Okay. So that 60 also will be here. PT monitoring relay. When if this PT supply fail, immediately this relay or output contact which is going to the breaker trip circuit, that to be prevented from the tripping. How that is done? That is done by this way. Now this is that day we discussed. This is positive, this is negative. So this is suppose this supply it is coming over here. This is now what we will do. This 60V. This is normally this relay 60 is always a picked up because the voltage is always maintained. It is always energized. So it is always picked up. So it is always picked up means this is a NC. It is a NO. NO normally when the relay is not energized, it is NO. The moment relay picked up, it become NC. So normally it is always NC. Then we give this multiple contact of this 40 relay contact. Then it is a 51. It is a 40, 51V. Then you say it is a 32. All these contacts coming together. Parallel is going to the breaker trip circuit. Okay. Or it going to the trip or it is going to the lockout relay 86. From where it is going to trip. Now when you see normally when the PT supply is available, this contact is open. When this is NO contact normal state. Normally when this 60 relay operated, it is NO condition. Okay. So in that case, what will happen? It is a normal PT supply available. Sorry, it is a NO contact in the de-energized condition. So when this relay is energized, it is become NC. It is a normal NO when the power is not there, when the relay dropped. But when the relay picked up, this NO become NC. So this is a normal condition. When the relay is energized, when the PT supply available, this contact is NC. Now when any of this contact operate, then immediately it will close and this ATC lockout relay operate and it will trip. But if this relay drops, or if the PT supply, the PT which is connected over here, there is a fuse over here, right? Or there is MCB. Either MCB or fuse, anything is blown, immediately relay will, this 60 relay will drop, immediately this contact will become NO. Because relay drop means relay is not energized, the contact come back to normal condition is NO. At that time, if this relay picked up, even this relay picked up, this will not get any power because this is open. So this way we prevent this operation of this relay and immediately 60 relay, another contact we give for alarm, one NO contact, we give one NC contact of the 60 relay. This NC contact going to the alarm to the remote. So immediately operator will come and attend it. So this way we prevent the protection function operation in case of PT supply failure. So this is also we have to include in case of this mid-size machine running in parallel because we are putting all this relay which needs a voltage supply. So this is a mid-size multi-machine system. In that case, in addition to this, we have to include another two protection, 32 and 40. Okay. Now we go to the large size machine. In case of large size machine, suppose the machine is 100 megawatt machine. Okay. Now in case of large size machine means it is more than 5 megawatt, maybe within 100 to 200 megawatt machine. In that case, that type of machine we generally do not use isolated condition. It is always running in parallel and it will be used by the utility company to produce power and giving to the remote end to remote consumers. Okay. So that is always multi-machine system. So we will consider big machine is the multi-machine system running in parallel. Okay. This is a generator I am showing over here. It is either resistance grounded or it is connected to a distribution transformer. Okay, this is a loading resistor, and then there will be 59V relay over here, or it will be 51G over here. Okay, now what about the possibility? And if it is a resistance grounded, only 51G will be here. Okay, now for this type of machine running in parallel, suppose this is it may be connected with the generator transformer, then it is going to switch gear like this. Now for this machine, only for the generator protection, what we said, we have to put the same thing, we have to put a CT supply over here. This CT will come, 51V will be there. Then whatever the protection we have provided, then we have a differential protection will be here. For the differential, maybe machine differential will be here, 87G. This will be here. Then we have to provide a restricted arc fault also here. This will be 64. Yes, restricted arc fault for the starter. So let me write one by one. 87G is there, main differential. Then we have a backup by 51V, it is there. Then for the arc fault, we are providing 64S starter arc fault, backup by 51G. This two is there, this two is there. Then we have what is the other protection? Then we have a, in case of 51G, and if it is a distributed transformer, we can 59V also, 59V over voltage protection over here. If it is distribution transformer along with 51G, we can provide, that is there. Now as it is running in parallel, then what we have to do, we have to give same 32 reverse power, 40 loss of acceleration. Then it is a big machine, so we have to give a 49G starter arc fault over temperature, 49G by RTD. So we have to give 49G. We have to give negative sequence heating also, 46, we have to give 46. Reverse power we have already considered. Then we have to give a overfluxing protection in the big machine, or overfluxing and loss of synchronism, both we have to provide. So 99 overfluxing because it is connected with the transformer. Then in case of KVR loss, we said KVR loss of acceleration protection we are giving, but at the same time it will happen that the machine may go out of synchronism. In a rotor, this 40 we are giving loss of excitation by measuring either by KVR, reverse KVR flow, or by impedance delay. Okay, but in case of the another thing may happen, it will be gave loss of synchronism due to this voltage drop or the KVR taken from the system. The machine may go unstable. In that case, we call unstable or loss of synchronism. We call it a pole slipping. That will happen. So 78 pole slipping protection also we have to provide. So these are the protection generally we provide for this multi-machine system, large size multi-machine system. Okay, when the large size machine, more than 5 megawatt machine, but maybe 100 megawatt or 150, 200 megawatt machine running in parallel, in that case all this protection will be there. In addition to this, we have for the rotor what to give, we have to give 64R rotor arc fault. Also we have to provide rotor arc fault. Okay, rotor, so all this protection we are including. Starter phase fault we are providing, backup phase fault also given by 51G and 59V. Then we are giving arc fault we are giving by 64, as is the main arc fault, differential there, this there, then 51G also there. Then we are giving this loss of acceleration and the reverse power. We are giving a starter hot spot temperature detection, and then we are giving 46 negative sequence heating also we are giving. 99 overfluxing in case of generator transformer connected, overfluxing may take place. So 99 is there due to load thrown off. Then pole slipping we are providing, rotor arc fault we are providing. In addition to this, we add another two protection. One is a bearing temperature and bearing vibration. Okay, generator bearing temperature, bearing over temperature, and bearing vibration. That is also vibration also we include. Yeah. In addition to turbine bearing temperature, turbine bearing vibration. In addition to this, for the generator bearing also we include this part. Okay. These are the mainly protection we provide for the big size machine running in parallel. Now, if the machine running very big size, very big, suppose 500 megawatt machine, in that case, what will be the protection scheme? In that case, all this protection what we discuss here, all the protection will be included. Okay. In case of large size machine, all this protection will be included. But difference is for the large size and very large size machine, if the machine is very large, suppose it is a 500 megawatt machine. So what we will do in that case, we will include all the protection over here, whatever is there. This is a one relay. This relay will include all the protection. That is, what is that? That is your 87G, backup by 51V. Then we'll give 64S, starter restricted arc fault, backup by 51G and 59V. Okay. Then we'll give rotor arc fault 64R. We give negative reverse power, loss of excitation, negative sequence heating 49G. Okay, 49G. Then we'll put bearing temperature. Then we'll put overfluxing also we'll provide in case of generator transformer connected 99. Then we'll put 78 pole slipping or out of synchronism. That is also we are providing 78. Then we'll provide bearing temperature. Bearing temperature 49B bearing temperature, and then we'll give the bearing vibration. Bearing vibration. Okay. These are the protection function we'll provide for the very large size machine. But this is a one relay. Now we'll provide another relay, but with a different make, not the same make, with all the protection functions. So that means this protection will be duplicated. This is a relay 1, this is a relay 1 or relay 1 scheme, this is a relay 2 scheme. Relay 2. This relay will be supplied from the separate set of CT. For all protection, all the CT-PT required will be provided separately. We will not merge. This will be completely independent system. Then we will provide another relay with the same function included everything. That will say second relay. That is called second protection function. Second set is a duplicated. Okay. These are the two way of protection we can give it. This is this is the second set of relay with a separate set of CT and PT with including all the protection inbuilt over there. That will be the second duplicate protection. If one of the relay fails, then the second set of relay will work. So for the big size machine, it will be duplicated. That are the protection for the second set of big, very large size of machine. This is a more or less, this is the guideline for this. But case to case, we can evaluate with the new approach for the protection. And now as the digital multifunction relay is available nowadays, so we need not to go to a discrete. Only maybe differential protection need a separate protection set of relay, but all other protection function we can put in the one relay, and through the algorithm and calibration we can make the protection function. But for large size machine, this two set of protection should be, it is called main 1, main 2. Main 1 protection, main 2 protection, like a distance, like a line protection. In the big size machine we put a main 1 protection, main 2 protection, both are main protection. Okay, these are the very large size machine protection scheme. Now we will go to the tripping scheme of this machine. Now you know this machine, when we look into the machine, how it is connected. Now the machine has a three part. This is a generator. So generator is going to the generator breaker, and then it has a rotor. This rotor is going to the through a rotor field breaker, and it's coming supply somewhere. It is a positive negative, and this is a generator breaker. This is a generator breaker, this is a field breaker, and then this is a connected with a turbine, right? This is a turbine, and turbine is a coming through a governor or turbine fuel system. Governor is connected with the turbine. So if any of the protection failed, which has caused, now the protection scheme, how the tripping scheme will be there. In case of fault, now this generator breaker to discontinue the fault, generator breaker to be tripped, field breaker may require to trip, some case turbine may require to trip. Now how we will make out which protection should trip what. For that we have a tripping scheme. Now we have to look into the protection which is on occurrence of the protection, the device we have to trip in such a way that fault will be clear and machine will be remain healthy. So for that you see, now for this protection 87G, 51B, 51G, 64 starter arc fault, for these protections, when this is happening, immediately what is happening, this is all are internal to the machine. This all this protection, 51B, it could be inside the machine or it could be outside. This is 50-50 chance. For the 51G also same thing, 59B or 51G, both protection, it could be inside the machine or it could be outside. 64H is strictly inside the machine. If any of the protection failed, and at that time you just trip the generator breaker, then what will happen? Suppose the fault is over here. You trip this breaker got tripped, but ultimately fault is continuously feeding and turbine is running with the fault feeding. So you cannot isolate the fault. So this type of protection functions which are allocated for the generator internal fault, in that case, in operation of that protection functions, we have to trip the generator breaker, we have to stop this field injection, field excitation to be lost, excitation to be tripped, as well as turbine to be tripped. So machine will not rotate, so it cannot feed the power. So the rotor supply excitation to be disconnected, mechanical power input to be disconnected, then only output also to be disconnected. In case of generator internal fault, we have to do this KVR power which is coming from the excitation, that to be disconnected. So the field breaker will be tripped, generator breaker to be tripped, and turbine governor or fuel valve to be closed. So in case of this type of faults, 87G, 51B, 59S, 64S, what will happen? All these three devices, turbine to be tripped, and in addition to this, in case of, there is another button called emergency stop. You can stop the emergency. In case of emergency, if you press the emergency stop, in that case also all this thing to be tripped. Emergency stop, it could be due to generator problem, it could be turbine problem, or any other problem. It's about emergency, because when this generator turbine system is there, there is a manual shutdown and emergency shutdown. If you press the emergency shutdown, immediately all this thing to be tripped. So turbine to be tripped. Number 2, this generator breaker to be tripped, and number 3, field breaker to be tripped. In case of, in this event, in addition to this, if there is some mechanical problem, very urgent and critical mechanical problem observed, immediately also all these 3 breaker to be tripped. In addition to this mechanical problem, suppose we see the fuel pump is leaking, or some gas line there is a leak, or there is a fire and gas system or something is there, then immediately if there is a serious mechanical problem, in that case all these 3 breakers, 2 breakers, generator breaker, field breaker, and the governor or the fuel valve to be closed immediately. So these 3 will be tripped. Mechanical, emergency shutdown, mechanical shutdown, and if there is a lubrication problem, suppose the lube oil tank is not full, it is low, in that case we can wait or we can trip it. So this is for the one group of protection, tripping scheme. Second group is where turbine need not to trip, but that is causing for external fault and that power cannot be taken. Like we have seen before, suppose like a 32 reverse power, okay, 32 reverse power. Then you see there is a under frequency, 32 reverse power means what has happened? Turbine already tripped. In that case it is happening. So in that case turbine already tripped, so we need not to bother for the turbine. 32. Then suppose there is a under frequency, under frequency, suppose 89 under frequency, or there is a overfluxing. Suppose there is a overfluxing means 99. Overfluxing happened when? Due to generator breaker tripping or over excitation. Okay. Then pole slipping 78. Okay. If this 32, 89, 78, 99, or some mechanical issues which is not very serious, okay, minor mechanical issues, if we observe any one of these, in that case, turbine, in case of 32, turbine already tripped, but for other protection, I need not to trip the turbine, because 89, 99, all this happening due to load thrown off. So in that case, only generator breaker and the field breaker I will trip, and turbine will be running on idle. Then with the time we will take care. Okay, for this type of protection. But the rest of the protection which is not very, very urgent, like which protection, like your overcurrent. Overcurrent means over temperature. Over temperature is happening due to negative sequence 46 and 32, right, and 49. 49G or 49G, then your 46 negative sequence, okay, 49G 46, then very minor mechanical issues, very minor mechanical issues. Then under voltage 27, under voltage 27, then loss of excitation 40. In case of loss of excitation, what will happen? It will be producing less voltage. So 27 is there for that purpose, and 49. If any one of these operated, in that case I need not to trip the machine immediately. I can wait for some time, then I will gradually reduce the power of the output power. When the power come very low value, then only I will trip this breaker. So what is happening? All these protections we group together. Okay. Then we put a contact, is called under power relay. Under power relay we call 37. We put on under power relay. Suppose maybe set at 10%. That means when the machine will see the forward power, suppose this is a generator, how it is working, this under power relay is working. Suppose this is a generator and it is giving power to this way, right, busbar. Now we put the CT and PT over here, and we put 37 relay with the CT and PT supply, in this both supply. When this relay will monitor 10% forward power only, this way going for 10% forward power, then we will understand the generator is producing power, but it has reduced because when on of the all this protection, what we mentioned 49, 27, 40, yeah, or mechanical, minor mechanical, when all these protections operated, then I need not to trip the machine immediately. We say, what we will do immediately when this will be giving alarm, and then on stage alarm, when alarm come immediately, I will gradually throw the load, gradually throw the load. When the load, the power come 10%, then 10%, what will happen? Normally this relay picked up. The moment it come 10%, immediately this relay drop up, and this normally NO, this is the normally NO contact. When the relay is not energized, this is a NC contact. Okay, but when it is energized, it become NO. So it is NO normal condition. When this relay is picked up, power is more than 10%, relay is picked up, this contact is NC, and then it is going to the trip command. Okay, so when any one of them operated, immediately it will go. But the moment this power goes less than 10%, then what will happen? Then this relay drop up, and then it become NC. Okay, this is a normally pick up relay. When the power is more less than 10%, then only it will drop, and when it will drop, then only this breaker will trip. So normal condition, this is a normally NC contact. That means when the relay picked up, this is NO. Okay, when normal condition, this contact is NO, so no command is going for tripping. Okay, but the moment relay drop, power got less than 10%, this NO contact will become NC, and immediately when it become NC, immediately it will issue a trip command to the generator breaker, field breaker, yeah, and then it will give the turbine trip. So with the low, it is called low forward power interlock. With the low forward power interlock, when it happen, in that case, breaker, generator breaker, and these three will not trip instantly. It will take some time to trip. Once the power comes less than 10%, after 10% power coming down, immediately trip command will be issued to the generator breaker, number 2 field breaker, and third is your turbine. Turbine governor will be off, or turbine fuel valve to be closed. Okay, turbine fuel valve to be closed. These are the three protection will be operated. So these are the protection scheme. So in a brief, we can say when the protection functions which is caused due to internal fault of the machine, for those protection, all the three devices, turbine, fuel valve to be closed, and generator breaker, field breaker will be tripped. But for the protection which is caused for the due to abnormal outside service condition, for that turbine need not to trip immediately, only generator breaker and field breaker will be tripped. And third group of protection which is not a very urgent protection, like under voltage, over temperature, when the under voltage is there, due to why due to heavy load, under voltage can take place, under frequency also can take place due to heavy load, or it can happen due to this over temperature can take place due to heavy load. If we withdraw the load, then the temperature will come to normal. So this type of scenario we do by different way. We do not trip immediately, we take some time to throw out the load gradually, and then when the power generated by the machine come down below certain level, then only we trip on the breaker. So that we monitor by a low forward power relay, that is called 37. Low forward power interlock, we can trip the generator breaker, feed breaker, and the turbine, close the turbine fuel valve after some time. So these are the protection scheme for the tripping scheme for the various type of generator. So with this, we are closing this part 5 of session 6, generator protection. We have closed all this point we have discussed, but however, if anybody has any queries, or if any additional information we feel that need to be discussed, please put a comment. We will obviously discuss those points. Only thing I could not capture here, the protection setting of the generators. So if somebody want to discuss about that point, please put a comment. Then I take a separate session, some additional session to discuss about the protection function setting, calculation, and the procedures. Okay. So with this, we are closing today's sessions part 5, session 6, and session 6 is getting closed. And thank you very much for watching and sharing this thing. I would like to request, if this various sessions which I have put in this channel, if somebody gets benefited out of this, or in the coming things, if you are a protection engineer or is a student who is studying the protection functions, if you feel it helps you, I would like to request or suggest you, please subscribe this channel, so that all the new videos on the protection system, once it is uploaded in the channel, immediately you will get a notification, so you can be updated accordingly. So if you give a subscribe or share this channel, then it will be beneficial for all of you. So with this hope, I am closing this thing. Thank you very much.